What can you do if your business is losing money? My name is Marty Dickinson with Here Next Year and ProduceMyBook.com. And I am here today with new author Byron Walker. He is the recent author of this new book called Small Business Turnaround Plan, your complete guide to getting back to profitability while saving your sanity. And this is a Produce My Book project. We've been working together with Byron for several months to produce this book, and launch day is today, March 23rd, 2021. So I'd like to interview Byron about this book. And Byron, I would like to ask you the very first question, which is, what in the world is a downturn? Is there a way for you to define that for me?
Yeah, sure, Marty, and I'm glad to be here. A downturn for a business can be a very, very difficult period of, for any business out there. And I've personally gone through it. And typically what that is you have probably two things occurring at the same time. Revenue is dropping and or expenses are increasing. And the bottom line is there's less bottom line, there's less profit, and probably losses that are scaring the business owner and requiring some big changes coming up.
Is there any difference between just a business losing money and being in a total downturn?
Yeah, there is, because a business to lose money 1 month is not unheard of, and sometimes there's some reasons behind it. But a downturn is something bigger and much more problematic. So it's typically some key numbers in the financial reporting are off and have been off. Sometimes you don't even see them until month 2 or 3 in a downturn, when the losses are really glaringly staring at you. And so, a hiccup here and there is okay, but seeing some really troubling trends in both losses, but also just a decrease in profitability, with, again, increasing expenses and decreasing revenue. So it's a much bigger problem than just a one-off month.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people will be experiencing downturns in 2021, and certainly they were in 2020. But why do you feel that today is the perfect time for your book to be launching on this topic? Is now a better time than any other time to be attempting to stop the downturn and get more into a turnaround plan?
Yeah, absolutely. The timing, I think, is very critical for many, many small businesses. They're struggling, through 2020 and COVID. There's been a lot of big challenges for small business owners. And now rolling into 2021, the same thing is facing small business owners, which are challenging times for whether it's, keeping inventory, making sure profits are up, making sure you have enough customers coming in. And so because we have all these challenges being thrown at small business owners, this book is ideal timing, because it's, it'll help the business owner really establish what's going on and how to fix it quickly. So the timing, I think, is perfect.
That's great. Well, if someone's just giving this video a few seconds to watch and they're hoping, gosh, Byron, I am in trouble, my business is in trouble, is there something you can offer someone watching this right now that even in just 20 seconds, it would be one word of advice that you could give them toward their turnaround?
Yeah, there's several, but really the big one to really look at is the solution to a business downturn is usually not as simple as increasing sales. Yet that's usually the first thing entrepreneurs look for. And often that's consultants is the first thing that they point to. Well, just increase the revenue, since we've seen revenue come down, reverse that trend and you'll get back to solid footing. But in many cases, that's not the situation, because there's more to it than just that. There's more behind the curtain, and increasing expenses, profit margins being reduced on the revenue that you have. There's a multiple different scenarios in what's causing the downturn. And usually raising sales, which is one, very hard to do, and two, not very predictive, and you can't control that as well. But three, it's often not what is going to solve the problem at hand. you need to dive more into the financials and figure out which of your revenue sources is the problematic one and which one is the healthy one to increase just that revenue source.
And that was probably easy for you because you were probably what, an accounting major in college, and really love looking at numbers.
No, not quite. I am that typical entrepreneur, hard charging, let's increase sales. And no, I wasn't good at accounting, and I certainly didn't have a degree in it. And so opening up the books and really diving into it was really difficult for me. And quite often the accountants that are trying to provide reports to me, they just think differently than most entrepreneurs do. And so what I put into this book is really a better way of looking at your financials, a better way of looking at your books, more geared towards the entrepreneur, small business owner, so that they can dive into the books and figure out what's going on and how to fix them. Because quite often the accountant just speaks a different language, and it's really difficult to translate that.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, there's one component in this book that I'd like you to define for people, because I think it was a pivotal moment for me when you started revealing content about this, and that is the cash runway. Can you describe what the cash runway is in 30 seconds or less? We're not trying to go into real depth in this interview, but what is the cash runway?
Yeah, it's basically how much cash you have left in the bank, in your hand, to pay your expenses. We even in a downturn, we've got incoming revenue, even though it's not enough, but you've got outbound expenses. And the cash flow runway is putting it into a spreadsheet so you can see exactly when you're going to run out of cash. Because running out of cash today is really, really bad. Running out of cash in 30 days or 60 days is also bad, but at least you have time to prepare for it. So it's that runway of seeing how many weeks or months you have left in cash.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that struck me the most with this book, is because I'm like you, I am not a numbers person. I am no financial planner. So to have a tool at my fingertips where I could sequentially go through step by step to create a routine where I'm always watching my cash runway and being able to forecast as a result of that, was a game changer for my business. I've been doing that ever since we started working on this topic. So how do you think that's going to change other people out there who might not be following their numbers as closely?
Well, nothing like a good downturn to scare you into knowing your numbers better. And I didn't do it before this, but now I do. And now I'm out of this downturn and my business is thriving. However, I haven't let go of that one piece, which is monitoring the cash flow runway. You'll always do it once you start doing it, because it is so helpful. And for me, Marty, it was what I jokingly call my sleeping pill. When I was going through the downturn, there's so much being thrown at you and so many negative issues and problems just every day, every hour. And it's brain damage.
Right.
And for me, being able to see when I would potentially run out of cash, that gave me a lot of peace, I guess. Even though, hey, I might go out of business, but I know it's not going to happen tomorrow morning when I wake up.
Right.
Okay. Knowing when I would potentially run out of cash allowed me to, at least at nighttime, to disconnect and relax and just know tomorrow it'll be okay. In 2 months, maybe we have a bigger challenge, but tomorrow it's okay. So for me, it was a sleeping pill. It was how I was able to disconnect and just kind of let go of that downturn so I could get some sleep.
That's great. Well, I want to piggyback on one response that you just gave, that you said you're through the downturn. You're still watching your numbers, but you're through the downturn. Your business is successful once again. So why you? Why did you need to write this book?
Well, Marty, when I was going through the downturn, I looked for books, I looked for resources, to help me, guide me through this very difficult point, in my business. I just didn't find anything out there. What I did find was more the corporate turnaround, where you would pay someone several hundred thousands of dollars to come into your company and to revamp everything. And so there is that for the corporate, bigger companies. But for the small business owner, say $1 million or more in revenue, there just wasn't anything out there. And I found that very frustrating. So for me, as I was going through the downturn, one of my friends pointed out, Byron, you should document what you're doing, because I would share with all the tactics and strategies I was using with my group of entrepreneurs I'd meet with. And she was like, you've got to document this, because then you can write a book about it later, or maybe you don't, but at least document it. And that's what I did. So I documented it. And now that I'm through it, I finished the book, and I just want to help other small business owners who may be going through the same thing and get them through it quicker than what it took me.
That's terrific. What a strong purpose for investing the time and energy it takes to put a book together and to see it through. A lot of people, they get 10% of the way through a book. They have a great message. It needs to get out there, but it just never happens. So congratulations for that. How do people get this book?
Well, obviously you can just be on Amazon and search for the Small Business Turnaround Plan, and you'll find it, or my name. Or you can just go to turnaroundplanbook.com, and that's where you can get that book from Amazon, both the ebook as well as the physical book.
Awesome. All right. Well, there you have it. That is our launch interview for today. Small Business Turnaround Plan by Byron Walker. My name is Marty Dickinson with HereNextYear.com and ProduceMyBook.com. I strongly suggest you go get this book, whether your business is in a downturn or not. What a great way to prevent yourself from going through a downturn by doing some of the things that Byron suggests in this book. It'll be worth your while to check it out. Thanks for stopping by.